Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share a message of hope. A reminder that when God is preparing to bless you with something extraordinary, He often gives you signs along the way. These signs may not always look like blessings at first. Sometimes they come disguised as struggles, delays, or even disappointments. But if you pay close attention, you will notice that they are guiding you toward a bigger destiny. The title of my message is, When God is about to give you something big, you will see these signs. The first sign is that God prepares your heart through challenges and testing. Before giving you something great, He strengthens your faith and endurance. Just as gold is refined in fire, your heart is refined through trials. The struggles you face are not meant to break you. They are shaping you, building your character, and preparing you for the weight of the blessing that is coming. The second sign is that certain doors will close before a bigger one opens. At times, opportunities you hoped for may suddenly vanish, relationships may end, or familiar paths may no longer be available. It may feel painful, but this is God's way of redirecting you. Closed doors are not rejection. They are divine protection, steering you toward the place where your true blessing awaits. The third sign is an unusual stirring of faith and expectancy within your heart. Even when circumstances look impossible, you begin to sense deep inside that something greater is on the horizon. This is not just optimism. It is the Spirit of God placing vision inside you. You may wake up with dreams that inspire you, or feel a fire burning in your spirit that refuses to let you quit. The fourth sign is the arrival of divine connections and helpers. Just when you feel you cannot move forward alone, God sends people into your life who encourage you, support you, or open doors you could never open by yourself. These connections are not accidents. They are divine appointments, proof that heaven is aligning resources on your behalf. The fifth sign is that opposition and resistance often intensify right before your breakthrough. When you are closest to receiving something big, the enemy works hardest to discourage you. Problems seem to multiply, critics appear, and doubts creep in. But do not be afraid. The battle is a sign that victory is near. The greater the blessing, the greater the resistance, because what God has prepared for you is powerful. When God is about to give you something big, He often begins the journey in ways that don't always look like blessings. Instead, He prepares the heart through challenges and testing. Life may suddenly feel harder. The burdens may become heavier, and you may wonder why things seem to get more difficult instead of easier. But this is part of the process. Just as a seed must break before it grows into a tree, your faith and endurance are stretched before the blessing arrives. Every struggle, every hardship, every tear that you shed is shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of a bigger blessing. God does not pour great blessings into unprepared vessels. He molds the vessel first, so that when the blessing arrives, you are strong enough to hold it. This season of preparation may feel painful, but it is never wasted, for it is in the fire of trials that character is refined and faith is purified. Often, before God opens a greater door, He closes the smaller ones you once depended on. This is where many people feel lost and confused, because the opportunities they expected suddenly disappear, or relationships they leaned on fall apart. It can feel like rejection, but in truth, it is redirection. God never closes a door without reason. When something you thought you needed is taken away, it is because He is protecting you from settling for less. The disappointment you face today may be the very thing that positions you for the greater tomorrow. What feels like an ending is often the beginning of a divine turning point. Another sign that something big is on the horizon is the unusual stirring of faith and expectancy that rises in your heart. Even when your circumstances don't make sense, there is a quiet voice within whispering, "Something greater is coming." This is not just your imagination. It is the Spirit of God planting hope and vision deep within you. You may begin to dream dreams that feel bigger than your resources, or you may wake up with renewed courage to pursue what once felt impossible. This inner stirring is heaven's way of telling you not to give up, because you are being prepared for something beyond what you can see. At just the right moment, God also sends divine helpers into your path. These are people who encourage you when you are weak, open doors you could never open by yourself, or simply remind you that you are not walking this journey alone. Their presence is not a coincidence, it is a divine appointment. When God is about to bless you, He aligns the right people at the right time to help you step into your destiny. But often, right before the breakthrough, the opposition intensifies. Problems multiply, critics appear, and doubts try to weigh you down. The pressure increases, and everything in you may want to quit. But this is not the time to give up. It is a sign that you are closest to your blessing. The greater the blessing, the greater the resistance. What you face in the battle is proof of the victory that is coming. And through it all, you may experience a deep inner peace that cannot be explained. Even when storms rage around you, there is calm within your spirit, a quiet assurance that God is in control. This peace is His confirmation that He has not abandoned you, and that His plan is unfolding. When all these signs appear, know in your heart that God is preparing to do something far greater than you could ever imagine. All He asks is that you keep trusting, keep believing, and keep moving forward. The blessing is near, and when it comes, you will see why the preparation was necessary. When God is preparing to give you something big, one of the clearest signs you will notice is that certain doors begin to close. At first, this can feel confusing and even painful, because those doors may represent opportunities you hoped for, people you counted on, or paths you believed were the right direction for your life. When they suddenly close, you may question yourself and wonder if you did something wrong. But the truth is that God uses closed doors as a form of divine guidance. He shuts what is not meant for you, so that you will not waste your energy chasing after something that cannot hold your blessing. It is not punishment, it is protection. He knows what is ahead, and He knows what could harm you or cause you to settle for less than His best. Imagine walking down a hallway full of doors. You may try to open some of them with your own strength, but no matter how hard you push, they refuse to move. That is not failure. It is a sign that God has locked those doors for your good. If you had entered, you might have faced heart attach, disappointment, or distraction from your true calling. Closed doors are often God's way of keeping you aligned with His higher plan. They redirect your steps, steering you away from detours and toward the place where your destiny is waiting. Sometimes, closed doors come in the form of relationships that end. You may have depended on certain people, believed they would be part of your journey forever, only to see them walk away. It hurts deeply. But often God removes people who cannot go with you into your next season. The blessing He has prepared may require a new circle. People who can support the weight of your vision and not hold you back with doubt or negativity. The absence of certain people may feel like loss, but in reality, it creates space for those divinely assigned to lift you higher. Other times, a closed door shows up in the form of opportunities that fall apart. You may apply for a job and not get it, invest in a project and see it collapse, or plan something carefully only for it not to work out. At first glance, it feels like failure. But when you trust God, you come to understand that these disappointments are redirections. What you thought was the perfect opportunity was too small compared to what God had in mind. The closed door is simply pushing you to wait for the bigger one that is about to open. It is also important to recognize that when doors close, frustration and impatience often rise. You may feel stuck in a waiting season, wondering why nothing is moving. But that waiting season is not empty. It is sacred. It is a time where God develops patience, builds your faith, and sharpens your vision so that when the right door opens, you will be ready to walk through it with courage and wisdom. So when you see doors closing in your life, do not despair. Do not assume it is the end. Instead, view it as a sign that God is about to give you something greater. Every closed door is an arrow pointing you toward the right one. Every disappointment is secretly an appointment with a better destiny. Trust the process, keep your faith strong, and know that the closing of one chapter is only the preparation for the opening of a far greater one. When God is about to give you something big, one of the most powerful signs you will notice is an unusual stirring of faith, an expectancy within your heart. This stirring is not ordinary excitement, nor is it shallow optimism that fades when life gets difficult. Instead, it is a deep inner conviction that something greater is coming, even when the evidence around you suggests the opposite. It is as if your spirit knows something that your eyes cannot yet see. This kind of faith does not come from human reasoning. It is planted by God Himself, preparing you to receive what He has already set in motion. You may find yourself waking up with a sense of anticipation that you cannot explain. Nothing in your circumstances may have changed, yet you feel a spark of hope burning inside. It is not because the problems are gone, but because your perspective is shifting. That inner stirring makes you believe that the storm is temporary, that the delay has a purpose, and that the closed doors are guiding you toward something far bigger than you imagined. This is how God builds faith before fulfillment. He puts a vision in your heart before it becomes reality in your life. At times, this stirring shows up as dreams and desires that feel too big for you. You may suddenly begin to imagine possibilities you never thought of before. You may see yourself stepping into roles, opportunities, or blessings that seem far beyond your abilities or resources. Naturally, you may question whether these dreams are realistic, but often, they are not born from your own ambition. They are whispers from heaven, invitations from God to trust Him for greater things. He places these visions within you because He is preparing to manifest them in due season. This stirring also gives you endurance in ways that surprise you. While others might quit under pressure, you feel an inner drive to keep moving forward. Even when you are weary, something inside will not allow you to give up. That is not your strength. It is God's strength sustaining you, reminding you that the journey is not over. The faith within you becomes like a compass, pointing you toward your destiny, even when the road ahead is unclear. Another important part of this expectancy is that it challenges your doubts. You may face thoughts telling you it is impossible, that you are not qualified, or that you have failed too many times. But at the same time, a stronger voice rises up inside saying, keep believing, keep trusting, keep moving forward. That inner tension is proof that something greater is on the way. Faith wrestles with fear, and when faith refuses to bow, it signals that you are being prepared for a breakthrough. When God is about to give you something big, one of the most evident signs is that He begins to bring divine connections and helpers into your life. These are not ordinary relationships or casual acquaintances. They are people strategically placed by God at the right time, with the right words, resources, or opportunities that will help move you closer to your destiny. Often, you cannot reach certain places on your own. You may have the vision and the faith, but God in His wisdom knows that blessings are often delivered through people. And so, just when you feel like you are at the edge of your strength, He sends someone who carries exactly what you need to take the next step. These divine helpers can come in unexpected ways. Sometimes, it may be a mentor who gives you guidance and wisdom when you are confused about your next move. Other times, it could be a friend who encourages you in a moment when you feel like giving up. It might be someone with influence or resources who opens a door you could not have opened on your own. Their presence is not an accident. It is part of God's divine arrangement. He orchestrates connections because He knows that no one fulfills a great destiny entirely alone. Often, these helpers appear at moments that feel like coincidences, but in reality, they are divine appointments. You might meet someone in an ordinary place, have a casual conversation, and realize later that their presence was life-changing. You may think you stumbled upon an opportunity by chance, but it was God aligning your steps with the right people at the right time. He orders your path so that you encounter those who will play a role in the fulfillment of His plan for your life. Another beautiful aspect of divine helpers is that they often believe in you before you fully believe in yourself. They see potential in you when you are blinded by doubt. They remind you of who you are and what you are capable of becoming. In seasons when discouragement weighs heavy on your spirit, their words breathe life back into your vision. They are like God's way of saying, "You are not alone. I have surrounded you with the right support for this journey." But it is also important to discern that not everyone who enters your life is a divine helper. Some people may distract or drain you. This is why prayer and spiritual sensitivity are vital. When the right people come, you will feel alignment, peace, and confirmation in your spirit. They will push you toward growth, not away from it. They will encourage your faith, not destroy it. Their presence will feel like an extension of God's favor. So, when you begin to notice that new relationships are forming, when the right people are showing up with the right help at just the right time, recognize it as a sign. God is moving pieces into place for your breakthrough. He is aligning the resources, the encouragement, and the opportunities you need because something big is on the way. Be grateful for the helpers He sends, honor them, and walk with confidence, knowing that heaven itself is orchestrating your path. When God is about to give you something big, one of the clearest signs you will experience is that opposition and resistance begin to intensify. Just when you feel like you are close to your breakthrough, life often seems to get harder. The challenges grow heavier, obstacles seem larger, and problems come from directions you never expected. It can feel like everything is working against you. But the truth is that this resistance is not a sign that you are failing. It is a confirmation that you are closer than ever to the blessing God has prepared for you. The greater the blessing, the greater the resistance, because the enemy knows that once you step into your next level, you will become unstoppable. Think of it like the final moments before dawn. The night always feels darkest right before the sun begins to rise. In the same way, the struggles you face often intensify just before your breakthrough. This is because the enemy is trying to discourage you, to make you give up before you receive what is yours. If he cannot stop God from blessing you, he will try to stop you from holding on long enough to see it manifest. That is why resistance multiplies at the edge of your miracle. This opposition can show up in many forms. Sometimes it appears as unexpected setbacks. Plans fall apart, finances become tighter, or delays seem endless. Other times, it shows up through people, criticism, betrayal, or misunderstandings that wound your heart. And often, it manifests internally, doubts, fears, and anxieties rising louder than ever. All of these are designed to shake your faith. But if you recognize them for what they are, you will see that they're not proof of God's absence, but proof that His promise is near fulfillment. Opposition also serves another purpose. It strengthens you. Every battle you face equips you with resilience, endurance, and wisdom. Without resistance, your spiritual muscles would never grow. Just like a seed must push through the soil to reach the sunlight, you must push through pressure to reach your destiny. The very weight of the opposition becomes preparation for the weight of the blessing. God allows you to face these challenges not to destroy you, but to build you into someone who can handle the greater responsibility that comes with His gift. In moments of intense resistance, it is easy to ask, "Why me?" But instead, begin to ask, "What is this preparing me for?" When you change your perspective, you will realize that the pressure is a sign of progress. The storm is an announcement that something new is about to be birthed. Just like labor pains precede the birth of new life, the pain of opposition often precedes the arrival of your promise. So when you face multiplied resistance, do not quit. Do not allow discouragement to rob you of your future. Stand firm in faith, because the very intensity of the battle is proof that your blessing is near. The breakthrough you have prayed for is closer than you think, and when it comes, you will understand why the resistance was so fierce. It was a sign that something big was on its way. When God is preparing to give you something big, the resistance you face often becomes heavier than ever before. Just when you feel closest to the fulfillment of your prayers, you may find yourself surrounded by problems, criticism, delays, and unexpected obstacles. It can seem as though the entire world has turned against you. What once felt smooth suddenly feels blocked, and what you thought would be simple becomes difficult. This opposition is not random, nor is it a sign that God has abandoned you. In fact, it is the opposite. The pressure is a clue that you are standing at the edge of a breakthrough. Whenever something significant is about to happen, the enemy increases his attacks because he knows the impact of the blessing that is coming your way. Many people become discouraged during this stage because resistance feels so overwhelming. Yet, if you pay attention, you will see that the battles you face are actually a confirmation that God is moving. The enemy does not fight what he is not threatened by. If your life carried no purpose, you would not face the storms you are enduring now. The reason opposition grows stronger is because the blessing ahead of you carries great power and potential. This is why you must learn to endure the pressure. It is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to prove that your faith is unshakable. Opposition can appear in several forms. It may come as closed doors that leave you frustrated, as sudden financial struggles that test your endurance, or as emotional battles that make you question your worth. Sometimes it even shows up in the form of people, critics, doubters, or even loved ones who cannot see the vision God has placed inside you. Their words may hurt. Their actions may discourage you, but instead of taking it as defeat, take it as proof that you are carrying something worth fighting for. If no one resisted you, if nothing stood in your way, it would mean you are not walking toward anything significant. This season of intensified resistance is also one of the greatest training grounds of your life. It forces you to build patience, strength, and resilience. Just as muscles are built through the resistance of heavy weights, your spiritual strength is built through the weight of trials. Every obstacle you push through prepares you for the responsibility that comes with greater blessings. Without these challenges, you might not develop the wisdom or endurance necessary to hold what God is preparing to place in your hands. You may feel like the pressure is too much to bear, but remember that birth always comes with pain. A mother in labor experiences her sharpest pain just before the child is born. In the same way, the pain of opposition is often sharpest when your blessing is closest. Do not give up during labor, because the new life you have been waiting for is about to be delivered. So when resistance multiplies, hold on tighter to your faith. Do not allow the enemy's attacks to silence your prayers or weaken your hope. Instead, take every hardship as a sign that you are on the right path. The storm is not there to end you. It is there to announce that a new season is about to begin. When the breakthrough finally arrives, you will look back at the opposition and realize that it was never meant to break you. It was meant to prepare you and prove that the blessing God had for you was worth the fight. When God is about to give you something big, one of the most powerful and comforting signs you will experience is a deep inner peace. This peace is not the kind that depends on circumstances, nor does it come from everything in your life going smoothly. It is a peace that settles in your spirit, even when storms are raging around you. Others may look at your life and see chaos, uncertainty, or struggle, but inside you carry a quiet assurance that everything will be all right. This inner calm is not human. It is divine. It is God's way of whispering to your heart that He is in control, that He has not forgotten you, and that His promise is on the verge of fulfillment. This peace is difficult to explain because it goes beyond logic. You may still have unanswered questions, bills that need to be paid, or challenges that seem unresolved. Yet something within tells you not to fear. That voice of assurance says, "I am with you. Trust me." This is the kind of peace that Scripture describes as surpassing all understanding. You cannot fully reason it out, but you can feel it anchoring your soul. It is as if God Himself has placed a shield around your heart to guard you from the weight of worry. Often, this peace comes after a long period of struggle, when you have prayed, wrestled, and even cried before God. You may have reached a point where your strength is gone, and all you can do is surrender. And in that surrender, peace floods your spirit. It is God's gentle reminder that the outcome is not in your hands. It is in His. That peace prepares you to step into the new season He has for you, because blessings require trust. Without peace, you would spend your days worrying whether the gift will last, or whether you are worthy of it. With peace, you rest in the assurance that what God gives, no one can take away. Another powerful aspect of this peace is that it silences the noise around you. People may question your decisions, critics may rise up, and circumstances may try to intimidate you. But the calm within you refuses to be shaken. It allows you to keep moving forward without fear. It helps you make decisions with clarity, because your spirit is not clouded by anxiety. It allows you to endure the waiting season with grace, because you know that delay is not denial. This peace is like an anchor that holds you steady while the waves crash around you. When this peace fills your heart, it is a clear sign that something big is about to be released. God does not give you that kind of assurance unless He is preparing to do something extraordinary. The peace is the down payment of the promise, the evidence that His hand is at work behind the scenes. So if you are walking through uncertainty, but feel an unexplainable calm in your spirit, hold on tightly. That peace is heaven's confirmation that the blessing is near, and when it arrives, you will see that every moment of waiting and every tear shed was worth it.